Thank you for engaging. We're ready to take our opening remarks. So I'm going to welcome Dr. Soul to give us the opening remarks. Professor.
Good morning, Gideon. Good morning, everybody, and thank you all so much for being here in spite of the rain. On behalf of the executive director, who is unfortunately otherwise engaged, she's on her way. She will be joining us before the end of today. But on behalf of the executive director, Dr. Sasi Jericho, I'd like to welcome you all very warmly on this cold, rainy morning to this location. I think that's expecting some other people who are probably being delayed by the weather. But I just want to thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for caring enough about Nigeria, for sharing the faith, for caring enough about Nigeria to come here and contribute your own quota. And hopefully in the future, your names will be recorded as being part of developing this landmark document, which is the Nigerian Youth Dream Charter. So if you're wondering how this came about, it was one of the key outputs from the Gender and Nutrition Summit from last year, where we had a youth panel, and the Nigerian Youth Dream Charter was one of the things that the youth, such as yourself, four of them, no, three of them I believe are in the room, one is online, discussed. I came up with and thought, this is important to let the government of Nigeria know our thoughts, our pain points, and what we feel needs to change, right? And so this is a continuation of that story. Rather than just talk, and nothing comes out of it, they felt that it was necessary, right, to carry that conversation forward by creating an actual resource document for the government of Nigeria to use and know, okay, this is exactly what the youth are thinking. And so that's why we have you here in the room today. So you're going to help us hopefully co-create that document, let the government of Nigeria know precisely this is what is topmost on our minds, and this are the people of the Nigerian youth. So you have a very, very important job here to do, and while we want you to have fun, we also need you to know that this is very serious business. So have fun while you're at it. And thank you. All right.
We want to applause for Dr. So. Sorry, I didn't give a proper introduction. That is Dr. So Madiwa, lead of advocacy here at the Policy Innovation Center. The brains behind this project, as you said, don't think about this project, the powerhouse behind it. Put a round of applause for her. All right. So before we jump straight into the next thing on our agenda, I just want to mention once again, please, those of us that came in a bit late, we need you to put up your vision for Nigeria on the youth dream wall behind you. So I'm sure you were all given a piece of paper to write down what your aspirations for Nigeria is, and the wall is where we're going to paste it, so that after we just look back at it and we say these are what the youth envision for Nigeria. So please do well to put it up on the wall behind you. All right, going straight into the next thing on the agenda, we want to take a keynote address from the representative of the Federal Ministry of Youth and Development. I believe I said that correctly. So we want to welcome the rep. I'm sorry, I don't have the name of the list. So I'm just going to welcome the person to give us the keynote address. You're welcome. Okay, thank you, ma. I was trying to stand as how thank you so much, ma.
That's a nice. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yeah, I have with this conversation. After what remember those some was singing from the last season. Can you give me one? You don't worry, I'll give myself so that I'll be able to exercise very well. My head, my shoulders, my knee, my head. My back's not feeling down very well. My organ, my principal, my manager is a very action man. He's the one that is here. Maybe we'll have to try some. I just want us to be like, can we put our hands together for it? So let's sit down. Unfortunately, the honorable minister could not make it here. Policy Innovation Center is already a family. When we reached out to the ministry about the Nigerian Green Charter, we saw that it's one of those things that we needed to be part of, and everybody can attest to the fact of the percentage of young people japping. Let me use that word. If there's a word like that in the dictionary, and we thought it's very necessary to also contribute to our quota. Let's hear from the Nigerians. Yes, we've been having engagements. We can never be tired because we are evolving, and we need to hear from the Nigerian youths. So he could not make it here today because of other engagements, and that's why he has mandated me to be here today. Let me just stand on the already established protocols that has been made. The Executive Director of the Policy Innovation Center, ably represented by Ms. Som, distinguished young people in the room, vibrant, relentless young leaders in your own different capacities here this morning. I want to say good morning once again. It is an absolute honor to stand before you today at this critical co-creation workshop. I want to thank the Policy Innovation Center for organizing this event and for keeping the momentum alive from the 2025 Gender and Inclusion Summit. Your dedication to turning decisions into concrete action is highly commendable. When we look around Nigeria and indeed across Africa, our greatest strength is not buried in the ground. It is working on the streets and studying in our classrooms and innovating in our tech hubs. Our greatest assets are our youths, and that's some of us here in the room this morning. However, for so long, many of our brilliant young people have had to run their races alone. The daily struggle to survive has forced many into a personal hustle that feels disconnected from our national goals. This is the gap we must bridge. When we support the dreams of our youth, we build a stronger nation. When we give young people the right environment, their success naturally translates into better businesses, stronger leadership, and a more peaceful society. This is why the Nigerian Youth's Dream Charter is so important. This charter is not just another document to be written and forgotten on a shelf. It is a youth-led vision. It is a roadmap created by you, for you, and rooted in the values of dignity, equal opportunity, security, and pride. As the Ministry of Youth Development, our goals align perfectly with this mission. We want to make sure that no young person is left behind, regardless of their gender or background. We are fully committed to working with the Policy Innovation Center and all of you here today to make sure the idea generated today becomes real, becomes workable, and it will be a good working document for our government policies. To the young people in this room and those joining us across virtually through the continent, your country is listening to you. Your ideas are valuable. Do not hold back. Speak boldly about the future you want to see or we should see. And let us design a charter that truly reflects the highest aspirations. I wish you all a highly productive, creative, and successful co-creation workshop today. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Let's give a better round of applause, please. That was a wonderful keynote address. And with that, we are officially underway. One thing, quick thing, sorry, like I said, we're youth and youth are agile, we can adjust, we can adapt. So one more thing, our strategic team are pointed to us that please, we may need to move some of you on this side over to this side so that those coming in can actually just fill the seat here. It would be more chaotic if they had to move over here. So I'll crave your indulgence if you could just, I think the first 2 rows, if we could just come fill the seats over here. Beautiful. So we just have to figure out how those are coming when we get started, but I'm sure they'll be fine. Okay, those online, can we still hear me? Are we good? Are we here? We want to jump straight into the next action on our list, and that is a presentation of findings from the scoping assessment that was done on the Youth Dream Charter. So to handle that session, I'm going to welcome my colleague, Amina Sani Esquire.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm just waiting for them to pull up our presentation. But generally, I think the first thing we need to do is, when you think of a Youth Dream Charter, what comes to mind? Like if you're thinking of a dream charter that you want to create, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? So I'm trying to make this as interactive as who wants to say something. When you think of a Youth Dream Charter, what do you think of? Anyone?
The very first thing that came to my mind was the people behind the charter. So before we even look at their names, let's have to understand who are the people, who is the target group that I'm choosing for.
So, Fred, thank you for your observation, Mercy. That's actually really good. When we say a Youth Dream Charter, the first thing we need to consider are who are the people that are making this thing, and that is the young people, the youths, the people that still believe in Nigeria, the youngsters that are trying to hang on to their aspirations, the dreams that Nigeria had sold but they believe no longer exist. That's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of a Youth Dream Charter. But then, what is the charter? Now, the charter is like a policy document in that it outlines, or think of it more or less like a roadmap. And what does a roadmap do, right? A roadmap sort of outlines to the stakeholders or the youth stakeholders or any stakeholder in a particular sector. It tells them the things that, it guides them on the things that young individuals, we've already said that they are the ones that are going to make this thing. It guides them on what young individuals think are relevant to them at a given point in time. So what that means is that a Youth Dream Charter is a charter that's made by young people, for young people, that guides the youth stakeholders, the government, CSOs, and all stakeholders available on what the youngsters in the country sincerely believe is relevant and is required at this given time to make Nigeria a country to stay in. So, with that clear, the next thing is, we all know that statistics tells us that the youths are the majority. We constitute the majority in the country. So the youth constitutes the majority in the country. And however, there are structural barriers that affect us, and I'm sure these are These are structural barriers that everyone can relate to or can speak to. I don't know who rents here, but the cost of rent right now is crazy. Who transports themselves? I'm sure people took either boats or Ubers, or those who actually who bought fuel 2 days ago or a day ago. As you were coming here, you were thinking, my AC, let me wind up, let me wind down, and all those funny things. Although they seem really minute, they are things that ultimately affect the average young person in Nigeria. The average young person in Nigeria suffers. I saw a post yesterday, and it says that, oh my God, we waste so much time and we suffer so much because of poverty. Like, because we don't have money, you suffer. You get to the park, wait, the car has to be full. If it doesn't full, you will come down again and do so many other things. So these are the things that affect the average young person. And it's not that our aspirations are too much. I don't believe that the fact that I want to have money and live life and just be okay is too much. In fact, I honestly believe that it's the baseline. You cannot say you want a country to work when what you're giving to people is not the baseline. This is my news. Let me give you another instance. A friend explained that he was working for a real estate company or that was seeking to recruit people outside Nigeria. And he wrote in the perks that, oh, we will give you 247 lights and we will give you electricity. We will give you data, like the Wi-Fi connected perpetually. And when the person that he was working for told him that we don't need to tell them all that, so as standard things, they would always exist. My guy drops his laptop. He accepted his feedback, so he accepted it. But he drops his laptop and said, "Child, so 247 lights, it's a standard. You don't even need to put it on a flyer to bring people. They expect other things." And as he was thinking of this, they took his lights. And it just made it more worse. So what we just want is a Nigeria that works. And I think that's what everyone wants, that a Nigeria that works. Just a Nigeria that gives you something to look forward to. A Nigeria that doesn't stress you, and a Nigeria that doesn't make you difficult. So you see that you don't sit in your downfall regretting your decisions every day and every minute. And we want a Nigeria where our efforts is the currency of success. I'm sure so many people are already heard of the you have to know somebody inside somewhere, in the somewhere, so that you can ultimately become somebody. I think the average person is tired of that. Aren't you tired? I'm tired. I'm tired. We want a country where the government also keeps its promises. Don't lie. Election is coming, very important. Who has their PVC? But please get your PVC. With elections coming up, we want a government, you soon start seeing rallies and promises will be made. The youth just wants a government that keeps promises. Don't say what you cannot. Don't make people believe what you will ultimately never actualize. So I think I speak on this point. I think hope I'm still with everyone. So I'm just saying what you people have said overall. And do you know that the youth in this country are actually more than the elderly people? Those under 35 in Nigeria are more than those over 35. Then isn't it cliche that we who are under 35 are being ruled by those who are over that 35? And we are more than them. We can overwhelm them in numbers and in everything. Isn't it cliche? But let me give you the statistics. The World Bank, everybody says, like Nigeria is like a bubbling youth hub. That's literally what we are. Everyone, they are present. It's a bubbling youth hub. It's like your next best thing after China. The youths are there, the energy is there, the strength is there. The youth population is there. Like, we were literally present. So what exactly is the problem? What's going on? What is affecting us? And I'll tell you what is affecting us. So we conducted surveys and we conducted in-depth reviews and we spoke to youths across the 6 geopolitical zones and we discussed with them and we asked them that, oh, what is the problem? Tell us. What do you think? What do you think is happening? And when we grouped all their discussions and when we grouped all the things that they said, they highlighted a number of things. They said that we have structural gaps. They said that there is connection over competence in Nigeria. They said that there is policy, but there is no delivery. And they want us to now still persevere under pressure. These are the things that the young people that we spoke to highlighted. However, it should be noted that the average Nigerian, it's not that we lack ambition, but fair opportunities are absent. One of our informants was telling us that, look, that opportunity, they are not giving us anything. Even us that know, we will not see. People that have gone to school, there's no work. So these are the things that have been highlighted. These are the things that have been said by the average young person. So what we did was that we structured all these statements into 8 foundational principles that sort of define our standard of action. And the first one is dignity. I think everyone here can say that there are certain things that Nigeria will do to you, that when you get home, you will feel as if you've been dehumanized. You will feel as if you've been degraded. You don't feel 100%. So I think that's one of the reasons why dignity was our first structural point. And we chose dignity because it is very important. It's one of those things because of how much dignity affects your self-esteem. If you lack dignity, you just Nigeria will do something. This may not happen for some of the men, but for the women, have you ever experienced something on the road that just makes you want to cry? So even the men, but have you ever experienced something while you were going about your day as a young person and you felt tears that maybe they didn't drop, but they just gather in your eye? Sometimes they drop. Exactly. You just things that just so dignity. That was my first pillar, and I aligned with it because it's very important. The inequity and the inclusion. They said we should include everybody happy, but say the truth. And then sometimes you know within yourself that some women have been excluded. This thing is not favoring some women, or this thing is not favoring someone living with a disability. You see all those when you get to a mall and then you have to climb a flight of stairs and there are no elevators or escalators. People that are living with disabilities that cannot walk, don't they deserve to get to the top of that roof? So these are the things that are very important. So those people now, are they any less because that things work? No. The third thing is merit and fairness. Merit and fairness. How many people have had to go through something simply because you did not know anybody? And even you know that you are the ideal candidate, but you ain't giving. So merit and fairness forms our third pillar. Accountability and transparency. When the people that are supposed to lead us are not accountable or transparent to us, that's our fourth pillar. And participation and self-determination. How can you be doing something for me and you say it's for me, but nobody that represents me is there? No, you're okay. You say you're alleging that we've come up with something that the youth would enjoy. And in the gallery of the photos, I don't see anybody that looks like me, either stature-wise, stage-wise. So who went there to do all those things? So there should be nothing for us that doesn't include us. There's safety and freedom from fear. The one chance issues, all the things that are affecting. Have you noticed that I'm not saying that old people can't be taken away from, but have you noticed that young people are often their targets? They look at you, dress, response, they say this is the person. They have to go after older safety. Then economic justice and intergenerational responsibility. Those are those are the things that define my our standard of action. And over those from those standard of action, we've determined 8 thematic focus areas that we honestly believe matter. And we'll go through them once we'll go through them, we go. So when it comes to education, I think the first thing is I wrote the education must become a bridge to work. Let it not be a dead end. I saw a post, sorry, I'm online, I'm a young person. I saw a tweet the other day, and this guy said that someone applied to be a virtual assistant for him, and in his job classification, he saw PhD in micro something. And then he was so ashamed because the money that he was paying him was like 350K. Somebody with a PhD is applying. Like these are the issues. These are the things. So education should become a bridge. Let it link. If I study, let it link to the fact that I'll be able to get an opportunity. I think everybody would want that. Let it not be that when you graduate from school, you sit down at home and you start thinking of life because there is no bridge. There should be concession between the two. Someone who has studied and done well in school, I think the person should be entitled to what the person, having done what is required for a job, should be given a job. Let our curriculums be reformed. So that I don't know who has done. There's TVET and our informal trainings that we do. They should be mainstreamed and certified. TVET has been happening for so long in Nigeria. I honestly believe it should be something. It should become a certificate that can be used for. It should be acknowledged. The training should be acknowledged as a certificate that can further or sponsor or be used to improve someone's chances at the labor market. It should not just be, oh, you have done it, you keep it. Because of how relevant it is and because of how many people actually involve themselves in it. Then transition support. Do you know how many young people, not everyone goes to Nile, not everyone goes to AUN or the private institutions. Those who go to public institutions, they don't have too many career guidance or internships. So they don't know that even when you're in school, you can acquire work experience. They just go through school. It's only people that are privileged to have gone to some private institutions and few public schools that care that will tell you that, oh, in school, you should actually be applying, you should be building your work experience in uni. I was told in uni, but not everybody was told. Some people will never hear of anything like that. Because tell me why, and another thing that I honestly believe is the problem. I believe that entry level graduates from university and 2 years experience should not be in the same conversation in the job description. Because you can't call something entry level straight from university and expect the people that will come. They are saying you want 2 years because what do they know? Where did they get it from? So these are the things that we should put into consideration. And decent work, please, back to the dignity issue. Let the work not be dehumanizing. Let the work not make them tired of living. Very important. Then the second pillar we said is livelihood needs systems. Let it not be survival based. Livelihood needs systems, not survival only entrepreneurship. And this is speaking to most of those that decide to venture on their own and do their things by themselves. If youth want to, okay, so I'm just going to run through. If youth want to build businesses and earn dignified income, let it be something that can actually work for them. Let them have finance, infrastructure, markets, protection. Then let trust be earned through transparency, let it be earned through merit, and let there be consequences for the wrong things. Because if I continue seeing people that are doing wrong things, not suffering for it, sincerely, I would honestly, it would, even though I know that's not good, I would be trained socially to think that it's okay. I can as well go and do the wrong thing. Nothing will happen. Then inclusion should not be, it should be designed. We should mainstream inclusion. Let people not think that, oh, well, I think they included them. No. Are they included? Is it convenient for all women, children, internally displaced people, and others. Then the cost of living and insecurities are shrinking the horizons of new choices. This was I remember this particular idea says the chances of survival in this country is just by God's grace. If God is not looking at you, you just go. Poverty, cost of living. Just I am working to pay my rent, and the rent is increasing. And the salary is not increasing with the rent. Will you not be tired of working? Then digital access is now core infrastructure for youth participation and opportunities. Our phones, are they transcending to money, or are they collecting money from us? Mental health. Adulthood is after my life. I agree. Because indeed, for many, when you are tired at the end of the day, you realize that I should have just ended all these things in primary five. I should have just stayed there in primary five, no life problems. Because mental health is not a luxury, it's the foundation to everything. Yeah, should I also point out that more young people are taking their lives now than older people. Older people are not even bothered. You see young people, they are dying every other day. And they're tired. Oh, the doctor, the 25-year-old guy, that fine, he was ill and I want to believe that was fine. The hospital is stressful, but I think there were mental issues to it. Because there's a way you will be drained. You just be tired. And nobody, he was not being heard. So mental health is not a luxury. I don't know. The old people, the boomers, they don't believe in mental. If you say my mental health, they say, what's mental health? So yeah, from principles to actions, we started with the 8 pillars, we're back to the 8 pillars. And then I listed out some core demands. The things that just align all our youth policies under UDHR and National Youth Policy. Let's make what we have, and then equity and inclusion. I just highlighted things that you probably already know. Let Nigeria work. Let the things that are being promised to young people, let them align with the things that are promised under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And let's be accountable, let's show merit, fairness, participation, safety, economic justice. A lot of us are no longer waiting for the job of our dreams. We are just waiting for a job that will feed us. We should move beyond that. And ultimately, intergenerational educational digital mental health and implementation. And yeah, the charter is to be built and to be monitored. We'll do implementation, unified reporting system, independent reviews, and every 5 years we'll do the charter reviews. And I dropped this. The charter succeeds only when accountability is shared and it's visible. So both federal, state government, national assembly, private sector, civil society, youth groups, development partners, we all have our role to play. You, I, we, us. We all have our role to play in ensuring that the youths get what they want. And the work doesn't end there. What's a document? We need to go beyond it. If implemented, we can do so. Yeah, there's nothing about us without us. And then, thank you.
Let's put our hands together for number. We really took our time to take us through the key findings from our scoping assessment. Yeah. So what was that? That was the scoping assessment, the key finding rather, from the research and all the work that was done generally. So then why are we still doing this? Because we still want your input. We still want more feedback. So that's like a background into what we've done so far. And then that should inform us on what we're doing here today. So she's spoken a lot on the pillars and the core demands. So I believe that we've gotten some guidance and clarity as to what youth are saying so far. And one thing I heard was that they no longer look for jobs that they don't know about dream, but jobs that can feed us. That's sad. So we don't want to live in that country. Okay, going on to the next thing on our agenda. I hope those online are still with us. We want to have an interactive session, right? So a link is going to be put up on the screen. The QR code will be put up. I want all of us to go on our phones to the website www.menti.com. The QR code will be put on the screen. You can scan the QR code and go there. We want to have an interactive session. We just want to have an interactive session. Those those in the chat, I think the link will be sent on the chat for you to join and the code to join in put up shortly. So yeah, this session is just to get your feedback. There are some questions that are going to three questions basically, and it's different type of questions with different types of inputs. Again, what we're going to do right now is to feed into our breakout sessions. So I want everyone to put their thinking hat on. Now it's a game, yes, but it's also kind of like just to see where your minds are at, see where your head is at currently. Because the questions that we're going to be asking in this session are actually going to be um, fed back into the breakout session when we disperse. Okay, so let's hold on. It's coming up shortly. But yeah, how many of us are familiar with Mentimeter? We've used Mentimeter before. Okay. So, but yeah, so I do. It doesn't have to be Mentimeter. I'm sure there are other tools, just Slido and stuff like that. So I'm just making use of one of those tools to, get some insights and any feedback before we go into the breakout sessions. Okay, great. Okay, so try now. So it's sounding not good. Um, I think I see 10 people already waiting. I think that's what the number is showing there. I think 11 now. Start the queue. So for those, I think Elaine, those online, go to www.menti.com, enter the code 77501788. Yeah, the PIC Zoom box. You could just be dragged a bit. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, kind sir. That's good. Great. Okay, I see 14 people. I'm waiting for all of us, everyone. Please, we don't want to start and leave anyone behind. I would have joined, but I'm the one that said the question. So, network is horrible. Oh, sorry, let me get you access. Yeah, I think we would give everyone access to the internet. Sorry, we didn't give that earlier. 15 people there. We don't have that much time, but we can wait. We want to carry everyone along. Anybody, what's happening right now in the world, like right now? First thing that comes to mind. Oh, someone said for moods. Oh, it's happening. It's happening. It's straight up what is happening. But positive things. That's my guy. He thinks about the real things. Yeah, but someone else said the World Cup. Yeah, so the World Cup is happening, and most people are happy with the World Cup. But you see, there's a group of people that they are not being carried along. I have to call them. So I said I will want everyone to join. Unlike the World Cup that everyone cannot be happy. In this our session, everyone should participate. What Nigeria do we envision? In Nigeria that will play in the World Cup. And that's what we want to be in my own system. In Nigeria that will participate in the World Cup. They should play first. They not play for the last two World Cups. They should play. Yeah. Okay, so how do we do it? So your paper is going around. If you need the internet, paper is going around quickly. 22. So who else are waiting for to join? Just raise your hand so I know I should crack the matrix. Okay, some more people. Okay. Yeah. All right, those online, I can't see your feedback, but I hope that your internet is good where you are and you're able to. We're just waiting on the. Okay, I'm seeing some problem. Good. 24 people are in right now. That's great. That's great. More are coming in. More are coming in. More are coming in. But yeah, I'm looking forward to everyone's insights. And I also want to like engage your mind. I've noticed that sports is something that actually, fosters national unity. I've noticed that both in the men's and the women's game, I see that when Nigeria are doing well, everyone is happy in the whole country. Like everybody can stop something because Nigeria is playing, Spain is playing. But then when Nigeria now lose, there's even your security man will be angry with you. Yeah, why are you angry at me? Nigeria lost. So I'm sure that even with sports, and I think that's why we have the Ministry of Youth and Development partnering with us because sports is something that young people are really passionate about. And I'm sure it's an aspect that Nigeria can really move forward in the future. Okay, please. Some people say that they have to take longer. Okay, we need to wrap this up in a few minutes. Who else is trying to get login? If you have login, you can actually just keep the person next to you as well. So just take a picture and no, don't start yet, please. We're not ready. Big shout out to NYSC.
Oh, they want to give your children such names, like very like Brian James.
We're saying big shout out to NYSC. It's one of the programs that I'm going to mention over the course of this that's really aimed at, promoting or giving youth a better life. One thing that NYSC did for me was learning the national anthem. Yeah, I'll be honest. Most youth in universities today, if you let me now, I'll put the just finished graduates on the spot and ask them to sing the national anthem. And you'll be surprised that they don't know the lyrics. Yeah. But when you're starting NYC camp, 6 a.m. in the morning, after they finish, what do they call it? They just blow the siren right now. Everyone must stand still. Next thing, national anthem wants to go. Hey, where are you? Yeah, everybody must sing. And the NYC anthem as well. So these are some things that were also captured in our findings so far as government projects that can actually help give us the Nigerian that we envision. Okay, is that 28? I'm waiting for anybody else in the room. Are we all there? Yes. We're all there, right?
Yes.
I don't want to leave anyone behind or anybody else. Everybody good?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, nobody has said anything, so the eyes have it. So we have 29 people participating. All right, let's go. Okay, so have your screens changed? The first question should be up on your screen now. What is one major issue affecting young people in our community today? So respond, tell us. What is a major issue? Hey. As you respond, you see your response on the screen. Someone said poverty. Someone said suffer, real. Someone said, so let's do uprising. Hey, people will explain to us all these things. Well, guys, yeah, we're here for like serious business as well, please. I mean, it's a serious thing if you consider it serious. One major issue, access And I think you can even send more than one response, I think. So feel free to. It's like poverty, I don't know why poverty is the news. It's like people are saying poverty, but so that's why it's coming up. Keep it coming, keep it coming. Those online, what is one major issue affecting young people in our community today? What do you think is the issue? Someone says high cost of living. That's true. Gaps in the education system. Wow. Procrastination. That is also true. Absence of wisdom. Someone says sustained care, something lack of sustained care. Ignorance. Yeah. A lot of people are actually very ignorant of the realities of post. And people say this all the time. Like life after school, life after school, life after school. And like you sing that song. But nobody really understands it until the entire time. Okay. So 9 people are still yet to respond, guys. Those online respond, those in the room, 10 more seconds and we move on to the next one. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Round of fans, involve yourself. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go to the next question. Which areas should the youth dream charter focus on the most? So these are some pillars that we highlighted even in the key findings session. And in our scoping assessment, we realized that these are key areas that people have issues with. So tell us, I think everybody can pick only 3. So use your picks wisely. Let's use picks wisely. So right now, education and skills is leading the race. But the race is not specific. Let's see. Job that is officially going to come back. And leadership is coming through tech and innovation. I think some people are second guessing. It's like when they see that everybody is picking this one, it may change my voice. Nobody cares about time, guys. I feel about compared to Cyrus can take a back seat. If all of these are in place, it's just like talking about the existential threats that AI has. Well, a person who hasn't eaten will be thinking of existential threats that AI packs. Now, climate action, every climate as it were is influenced by almost every single thing out. And it's like the circular economy says, it's like a circle. So whatever you give it into return. So if we pursue climate action and there are no jobs, but yeah, there's always a counter argument, right? Who has a counter argument to that? Climate problem if technologies were taking care of leadership took care of green environment in the first place. Okay, so like you guys are already getting into the breakout mode. Let's go down. See, this is so common. Okay, so far, almost everyone has responded. I'm going to give a countdown. So I love that conversation. I love that conversation. Please bring it to the. Let me see your color code. Let me know which one you're in. Yellow. Yeah, the color code. You don't have it. Okay, you should have it. Color side. All right. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Next question. Let's have the next question, please. The last question, actually. So, what kind of support, based on everything that I've seen so far, the most important issues the sectors to focus on, in a few words, it shouldn't be too long, just a sentence or a couple sentences. What kind of support do young people need most to achieve their dreams or to achieve our dreams? What support do we need the most? What support do we need the most? In your very esteemed opinion, what kind of support? So this one you can take your time, think through it, put a paragraph together. Okay, a working and functional system that rewards value addition and punishes shortcuts. Somebody has said it should be punished. Okay, they need educational and mental support. Mental health and well-being, very important. Someone says the right mentorship. Hmm, people really don't know what to do. A better economy. If the economy were better, more people would have hope. So that's another topic. What influences hope? Someone says a better economy. A safe and enabling environment. So that's where climate comes in it. Oh well, not just environmental ideas. Updated our view about the world. So young people should have an updated world view. Okay, please keep the responses coming in. If we can also just scroll to see more responses as they come. Someone said a safe space free from oppression and tribalism. Access to quality education. So there's education and then there's quality education. Beautiful insights. Mentorship, skills training. Wow. From this, I think you guys, like I'm excited for the breakout session. So these are the feedbacks that we need. Please, can we scroll down to see more responses? Someone says less motivation, more opportunity. Wow. What is it? Aspire to inspire.
But there's a reason why the motivational industry is a multi-billion dollar industry. And there's a reason why everybody who is doing something of one individual, anybody who is a high net worth individual has this people on the retainer. So I think it is these guys to the person who says we need an updated world view because you don't know what you don't know when you stay. So if someone can guide me to know what you need to know, I think you need that to know.
Beautiful.
We don't have, we have how much?
Yes, it sounds more like men.
All right, keep the responses coming. They're already having their own mini debates in the room. Those online, feel free to give your takes. I'm loving the energy in the room. A system that allows youth to be built up and not shut up. Wow, Microsoft. Yes, to be built up and not shut up. Yeah, that's a bar. We'll probably highlight our youth need to be educated with the right and practical information. Okay. Funding proper mental and academic support. Wow, this person has said a lot. Funding, that's one. Proper mental and academic support, that's another one. Employment, another one. Security, another one. Environmental, updated educational systems, more motivational opportunities. Lots of valuable insights given. I think we can just give a few more seconds for the other people. Sorting the seconds from the others. Okay, so this is an aggregated response system. So we're seeing that 7 people are talking about mentorship, 5 people are talking about educational access, 3 talk about policy reform, 5 talk about a supportive environment. I think if you scroll down, so people are talking about economic opportunities. So these are the main themes around what people are saying. Wow, this is great. Okay, so can we just see the results? So we can end the presentation, right, and then just give us a high level summary of the results. Let's see what we're seeing total. So thank you guys for joining. That's the end of the presentation. We just want to now see like a quick summary of the results so far. And so can we see the page of the poll? Let's see from what we discussed. I think the first question was, so if I go to the first page, yeah, the main problem, I think that was this. Okay. Okay, yes. So what's one major issue affecting young people? Right. So okay. So what we see is poverty was the main thing, right? Poverty had the biggest share of the responses. So people are saying that without money, back in the camera, without money, we can't do much. Right? That's the main insight. Access insecurity. That's another main issue group was that insecurity is really affecting Nigerians today. Unemployment, poverty and unemployment are not so far from each other. And then ignorance was also a main thing. Interesting, I didn't expect that. But I think it's a thing that you find with young people. Ignorance and naivety. Access. I just in the corner there, although do uprising. I just want to mention that one. Spotted it. Drug and substance abuse. I think that should be more prominent in the list actually. It's a big problem young people are facing. Okay, let's see the second question. The next page, next slide. Let's see what the main responses were. Okay, so which area should the YouTube charter focus on the most? 60% of you said education and skills. The next level was jobs and entrepreneurship. So you see that that's also, but I didn't see illiteracy in the first part. I think that also ties down to education, leadership and participation. So getting young people involved in leadership and civic engagement processes. Then tech and innovation, you know, the world is moving with technology. Young people don't want to be left behind. Mental health and well-being, people are going through a lot. I don't say people are mad. I'm saying people are going through a lot. Safety and security. You need to be alive to actually do well. And then with the 4%, just happy to be here, climate and environment. Please let's pay more attention to our climate and environment. Okay, so thank you all for participating in this session. Put your hands together for yourself. It has been very engaging. So, so next on our agenda, very quickly. Okay, so we were supposed to take photographs now, but we're going to take a tea break, and then after the tea break, we're then going to take the photographs. So, the break session has started. We'll be ushered when they are ready for us. But we're taking a break now. Let's just cool down. You can also continue those conversations. Let's have some music and relax a bit. Okay, so the break is meant to be 30 minutes, 30-minute break. However, we may be called at any time to take the pictures. So, well, I think once we move to take the snacks, then the pictures will come after. But for now, let's remain seated until they are ready for us to have the snacks.
Okay, here I am again. Good
Okay.
afternoon.
Yes.
Welcome back. We're listening.
So I think I won't say major opportunity or number one opportunity, but I guess this one is also helpful. I think
Mhm.
skills training and I'm still emphasizing on the decent job can make us can make us achieve the
Yeah.
kind of life we want, right? And then when we have good decent jobs, young people will
Mm.
be able to they'll be employable, right? And we'll be able to now then start thinking of starting our businesses, why jobs provide jobs, incomes, and experience. So when we I don't know how to really express myself, but yeah, I
Just
think that helps too. But I'll just drop my summary of what I'm trying to say.
okay. All right. Thank you. But I really got, I think I got that right. About having access to skill training and decent jobs, so that they can also start businesses. So maybe something for us to explore before we move forward with this. Do you think somebody that has a 9 to 5 will have time to start a business? It's just a question. I don't think that's not our next question. But do you think someone that has a 9 to 5 can start a business? Let's go. We'll talk on that. Okay.
Yes, yes,
After that,
yes, 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 it's possible.
it's
It's
possible, right?
possible because you have
All
your
right.
weekend, and of course you have your deliveries.
Mhm.
You must not always be there, but there's access to what's it called, dispatch riders. There's access to, you employ someone to monitor your business. Yeah.
So that leads to the job creation aspect that you spoke about earlier too. Yes,
Yes, sir.
that makes a
Yes.
lot of sense. Okay, so Emanuela says that we need access to funding, grants, stable power and electricity, and even basic things like standardized internet access. I could not agree more. I think it was that is very. I could not agree less. Like it's very very important, all of these basic things like electricity. Having been a social entrepreneur all my life and trying to see what solutions we need to build for people, what people need to make their lives better. I think all of these basic things are things that keep coming up as very important points. Just access to internet. You can't do anything this is without internet. You can't apply for anything. You can't access information without the internet. So very, very important to have all of this infrastructure set, right? And that's one thing that is really, really, really lacking in Nigeria. Like even every day you hear, oh, the power grid, something happened to it. We pay all of this exorbitant amount for internet, and we still don't get any quality internet by any means. Right. So that's very, very important point. And Prince says exposure I think is key. You can only think as far as your mind. So things like scholarships, internships, skill training should be promoted countrywide to promote motivated people who can be employable, as opposed to the mindset that if you want to succeed, one must migrate to big cities like Abuja and Lagos. Yes, 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 yes. I can agree less. We need to expose people's minds to more of these things. Like even my experience, it's an example, right? Like until I got to learn that, oh, there are like these opportunities exist in these places, like because they seem like very commonplace knowledge once you've accessed that information. But if you're not access that information, you're not part of that ecosystem, or you don't even seek out for these things, you don't know they exist, because a lot of us are not born with the culture of like internet and all of that. You won't know of them, you won't find them. So I think they should be made more commonplace. More people should, and more of these opportunities should be created as well, so more people can access them. And the mindset shift is very, 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 very important. And Ruth says, I think the opportunities that are limited, so opportunities do not get to the right audience. Yes, linking to what we're saying about creating more of these opportunities, right? The opportunities like for basic needs also, the subsidy is very important. Like food should be affordable, healthcare should be affordable, right? Like transportation should be affordable. People should be able to buy, clothing should be affordable. There's this thing that we're saying about promoting fast fashion and sustainable fashion. They're very, very different things. So fast fashion are like all these outfits we buy, all of these like buying from Shein, ordering online, all of those things. These are very fast fashion, and like they're not sustainable because those clothes don't last for so long. You just throw them away, or but things like thrifting, right? Those are more sustainable fashion because like those clothes, they people who are not, let's say you're not wearing your clothes anymore. There's a system to what's it called, help you. It's like keep them away or sell them to somebody, things like that. But the point of this is talking about the affordability of this outfit, right? Some people buy those clothes like fast fashion because like they're more affordable. If you wanted to buy Ankara or something now, you know how much it would cost to just buy it and sew it. So how many of these can you even get, right? So very, very basic things. We should be able to have a system to make sure people can afford them, and you don't spend exorbitant amount of money just to eat or clothe yourself when those are basic needs. So what does a supportive and inclusive Nigeria look like? Well, let's say we're looking at the future now, we're doing future thinking, and everything has worked out well. Nigeria, the systems are supportive, there's inclusion. What does that look like? So you can address this in terms of maybe what you think the system would look like, or how what the system will evolve into, or the components of that system, the evidence, like the testimony that people would have, their testimonials on, oh, this is Nigeria now being supportive and inclusive. So what does that look like to us? So let me hear our thoughts. Let me hear our thoughts on that. Okay, God's favor says a supportive and inclusive Nigeria is one where every young person, regardless of their background, gender, religion, ethnicity, disability, or location, has equal access to quality education, healthcare, employment, and opportunities to succeed. It's a country where everyone is treated with dignity, their voices are heard, and they can contribute to national development without discrimination. Wow, that is very, 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 very powerful. I think this addresses, some of the, like say, core components that are required, that we would want to see, that we want to be present in a Nigeria that that is supportive and inclusive, right? The inclusion the inclusion part is very important when God's favor says that everybody can contribute without discrimination. So regardless of who you are, if you have say a service to Nigeria, an idea, things like that, you should be able to contribute that without feeling like you're not being heard, like that, or someone is discriminating against you, that you can't self-actualize, you can't share your ideas just because of your gender or your race, or your ethnicity, your background, or your disability, or your location. Right, the location thing is also important because, like what Prince raised earlier about the major cities situation, it almost feels like the major cities are where things are happening, and then the people in other areas are sidelined. Like Nigeria has 36 states, and why do we hear only of the major places? You hear of Abuja, you hear of Lagos. Sometimes you hear of Kano, you might hear of Port Harcourt, you might hear of maybe Calabar. But like these are just major cities in the geopolitical zones. But there are other states, like there are so many states, there are so many languages, there are so many ethnic groups, so we should be able to include all of these people, and the uniqueness and talent you know they they bring to the table when we're working together. So I let me see if maybe Ruth or Emanuela has something else to add before we move on from this. And Prince says, I think a supportive and inclusive Nigeria starts from empathy, having empathy for one another. A society where everyone's voice has equal rights, regardless of race, gender, etc. But most importantly, empathy to support one another instead of relying on government. That is a very, very, very important and big word, empathy. And I think it's a word that people don't, will I say, fully know the meaning, or like the depth of that word, because people think empathy as sympathy, usually as, oh, something bad happens to this person, I feel bad for you, oh my god, sorry. But that's not empathy, right? That's sympathy. Empathy takes like an extra step to being able to do something about it. Like as young people, when they say, "Oh, we should be change makers," We should go out in the world, go out to our communities, identify problems, and try to find solutions to them. That is the core of empathy. That is being able to support, someone else, like as Prince has phrased it, support other people, support other young people, support, maybe a specific group in your community, support to solve a particular problem in your community. Not waiting on government, knowing that okay, you're powerful enough, and however much you can do is good enough, right? And all of this can only come from a place of empathy, because a lot of these things are not, and that's like putting yourself in someone's shoes and taking action on their behalf, right? Because a lot of these things are not very easy to do. They take a lot of effort, they take a lot of resources, finances, time, you know. So that's why it's very important that we cultivate our empathy, right? Because without it, we won't be able to take the necessary step or be able to do them as well as we should to actually have impact. And Ruth says, I think they are, let me see. Yes. Yes, okay, so it's brain insights. Right. Exactly. Right. If we give out things, they go farther than we think. I have experience, um, I've experienced, some of those things, and and you don't know how much you are impacting somebody by just that small action that you've taken, by just that, oh, I can support you with this. Oh, okay, you don't have, oh, you know, um, just like Princess, take that shoe, take that clothes, oh, I have this excess. You can have some of this food. You can have some of this. Like, we don't even have to go as far as doing something big, like, changing the world or changing Nigeria. But there are very small steps that we can take to impact somebody's life. Like my own personal mantra is, one smile at a time. One person's life at a time, one impact at a time, one moment at a time. Right. Whatever you can do in the capacity that you find yourself go a very, 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 very long way. Right. So I think that really paints the picture of, or gives us very good points, from this first discussion. So we're going to move right on to the second. So we have two. Suppose I have two breakout sessions. We're going to take both of them together. So the second question, or the second set of questions, we'll be discussing addressing like the barriers to the Nigeria that we are all dreaming of. Some of the root causes of these barriers, and then exploring some solutions to them ultimately. So I'm going to start from the first one. So, what makes it difficult for young Nigerians to build the life they want? That's the first question. What do we think? What are some of the things that we've seen, that we've experienced, that makes it difficult for young Nigerians to build the life they want? Hmm, hmm. A very important one that's boiling on my mind. I'll mention it when we start listing. Let me wait first. I'm sure somebody will mention it. But what are those barriers, right? That when we look at it, we're like, my God, my God, if this thing is not removed, we can't have the life or the future that we're dreaming of for Nigeria.
Okay, I'm here. I love this one a lot.
Okay,
I love
okay.
this. So I think the truth is my dream actually is to build a successful career and make a positive impact and cool, because they say good names is way better than riches and wealth. So having a good career, and then having a successful you know career built, and also having a successful positive impact, right? And I'll tell you that the main challenges that is holding back all of this is money. Oh, money, number one. Let me use the word money is number one barrier is actually money, and of course limited opportunities to access, and lack of access to the right support. So yeah, that's it.
Systems. Okay, so Money and support systems. Okay, so you told us what your dream is to build a successful career and make positive impact. Can I ask you, since there's not too many of us in this session, it seems like a good time. So what sector are you looking at this career or the impacts that you're interested in? Is it healthcare? Is it education? Is it I don't know, climate change? Is it maybe even oil? You want to make oil money? You want to be your career? Explain. Really?
Okay,
So
education
what's
actually. Education. Yeah. Making
so do you
sure
want to
that
be okay? Making sure that
I'm listening. I'm listening. Do I
okay,
want
so that's
to
it.
what?
Do you want to be a professor? Do you want to have a startup that builds edtech solution? Do you want to be in non-profit working in education? Do you want to work in education policy? Even if you have not thought about it, it's okay, right? But I'm just making sure that you know that there's all of these options
Yeah,
and
all of these options, yeah, is relating. So I just, is I grew up, sponsoring myself into school and all of that. So I would say that is part of what made me think of education. No, in as much as I love education, so I make sure I push through. And seeing people around me in the community that I am, in the villages, I've done some voluntary work, and I'm seeing people just stay at home because there's no funding. And funny enough, it's not much. It's not really much to access education. It's not that very big, but yet they don't have access to it. So it's one of my challenge, and yeah, trusting God that yeah, that area. Thank you.
for you to trusting God for you to and also keep in touch with PIC's work. If things any opportunities come up, please make sure you apply and work with us. Because
Um,
yes, that sounds very wonderful. Sounds wonderful. Emmanuel, Mr. Emmanuel, I don't know if you have access to speak now. Do you? I don't think you do. I've reached out to get it rectified. Sorry about that. Hopefully it gets resolved soon. Prince was saying infrastructure, right? Infrastructure is the biggest problem. There's so many components of infrastructure. There's so many, infrastructure system that we need time and time again, but they are um, hardly present when we need them, right? Even down to education, because even schools, you see students using things from very long ago, using, you know, also, Emmanuel, sorry, can you check if you've approved your audio? Just check if you've allowed, check around the mic area if you've allowed your device audio, because everybody's mic should be able to come on. But yes, infrastructure is a very, very, very important component or important barrier. It's a systemic barrier actually, because in Nigeria we have the money for a lot of this infrastructure, right? We have a number of the things. All right. Sorry about that. Yes, please try rejoining. Okay. Moving on to the next question. Moving on to the next question. Why do we think these challenges continue to occur? So why do you think we keep having the infrastructural challenge, the barriers to education, all of the insecurity, things like okay, say lack of access as well. Say maybe you don't maybe trying to get a job and you have to like know somebody to get a job. You can't, your skill might not be sufficient all the time, things like that. Why those barriers exist? Barriers like the perception of different generations, thinking that something like, oh, young people are lazy, young people are not committed, all of these stereotypes, and so on. So all of these barriers are young people that we are having in Nigeria that we dream of. Why do we think these challenges continue to occur? What are some of the reasons why we think they continue to occur? Let's take some time to think about that. Why do they continue to occur? Is that Emmanuel? Is your mic working now? Oh, it's still the same. I can't see the mic icon. It's not working. Okay. I'm going to try to get that resolved. I'm going to try to get that resolved, but still, let me put the next. Okay, I'm going to start from Princess. I'm sorry, give me a sec. Emmanuel, your mic should be working now. Yes.
Can I speak now?
Yes.
Okay, so I would say that they continue because there are fewer opportunities than the number of young youths seeking them.
Mm,
Yeah, and many lack the support and resources needed to move forward. So that is why it seems like the whole thing keep persisting. Yes. So yeah.
and resources. All right, that is very important. So fewer opportunities, and they don't have the support and the resources that they need to move forward. Prince says that we're not united, so everybody's looking out for their pocket, and there's lack of patriotism, which is stealing, corruption, etc., and that makes it harder for the average Nigerian to succeed. I agree. I agree. I think everybody and this system is, I think, is at this point is just a vicious cycle, right? Because of the situation that people are in, because of things like, oh, people don't know where the next meal is going to come from, situations like that. Things are more expensive the next day when you go to the market. It's just so frustrating. So people are always like looking out for, okay, where's the next opportunity, and trying to, let's say, take advantage of everything they can whenever an opportunity presents itself, right? So that's why, like, there's a lot of individualism. People are always just, looking out for themselves, for their pocket, and there's no unity. That's cost us our unity in the process, right? Because, like, even with politics, down to politics, people look out for people they think that when they're in positions of power, it will benefit them as a result of maybe their tribe, things like that, right? And all of it is just made it harder for us to move forward, because to move forward we need to come together in unity, because these are not things, as long as we're a country and we remain the country Nigeria, we can't solve these problems we have in the silos that are our communities, or wherever it is we're from, or even our households, or even ourselves, just individually trying to make it right. And maybe that's what is even contributing to the whole jackpot mindset, right? People just want to leave. They just believe that, okay, I'm going to work hard, get all this money, and just leave Nigeria, right? So just, like, just focus on themselves, right? So yes, let me now go to solution. Emmanuel, I think, yes, please.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Please
That's-
confirm if you can hear me.
yes, I can.
All
Can
right.
hear you.
All right. So I've worked across multiple sectors. Currently in the development space. Currently, also do a lot of stuff in technology as well. One thing I will want to say is that Nigeria is a very blessed country. We have talent in abundance. Creativity is there, the real resistance is there, the innovation mindset is exactly there as well. Every day I have seen young people across the country whereby they are solving problems or bringing around innovation or bringing about businesses, or even trying to even create jobs, right? Or even thinking around technology to scale around social change and improving the country. But it doesn't just stop there, right? I think we owe ourselves a responsibility to drive that change intentionally. Um, One thing that I will say for sure is that there are a lot of training programs across the country. There are a lot of organizations that are running free programs. There are a lot of stuff that are happening for youth to get empowered, to get skills. I can name couple, right? But even at that, there are a lot of gaps, right, in terms of implementation, in terms of structural alignment, in terms of the youth, the youth ourselves as well, trying to be more engaging and trying to wanting to pass through the process duly. There are a lot of stuff that ourselves we owe ourselves a call to believe that the Nigerian dream should be a reality, and how we should be we should be pioneers of this change. So it's one thing to see the challenge, and it's another thing to face this challenge head on. Most of us are not ready for the change that we want to see. That's very, very sad. And one thing that we need to do is now to hold ourselves accountable, and try to bring structures that will make each Nigerian youth hold himself accountable. Just this morning, a friend of mine called me. There's a friend that I helped to actually get an employment, and he was complaining bitterly about how the person is actually not even doing well again, and all of that. So I think it's a mindset shift. We have to change our mindset towards things, and how to bring around structure, and also the people that are creating the policies and the structures and the infrastructure to make certain programs work. How are they constructing the programs to serve the realities of the youth as well? So all of this needs to be checked. What are the monitoring and evaluation processes that are being done to help make all of this standardized, and make it well structured? Thank you so much, Jonathan. Let me not take much of our time today.
No, absolutely. Thank you. I'm here today to listen to us, like, and like just speak and diagnose these problems. Well, I think you raised very, very important points, especially around, like, the structural alignment that is needed, the implementation issues, the accountability issue, both on the part of us as young people and the systems and the organizations that are supposed to be, let's say, helping us get to this Nigeria of our dream that we're, currently talking about. So those are very, very, very important points that should lead us to the. And this time, I want us to talk about just one thing, right? So we'll take our time to think about it, right? What is one single solution that we think would make the greatest difference? So if this was implemented today, it will make a difference in solving, all of these issues and barriers, all the root cause that we've identified to the problem, or to the Nigeria. So the barriers to the Nigeria that we're dreaming of, the Nigeria that we want, the Nigeria that we think, um, in the future, the Nigerian people, like the Nigerian youth, that majority of the youth will be happy. I know that there's hardly any system or society where everybody is fully content, but say for the majority, that will lead us to be a country like Finland, where they have a very high happiness rate, over 90%. So, what solution we think, if we implement it today, it will make the greatest difference to leading us to that Nigeria that we're dreaming and hoping and praying for. Hmm. Create equal opportunities for young people. So what does that mean? I want us to interrogate it further. I want us to have something that is not abstract, right? Equal opportunities is not abstract as an idea, but it could mean different things to different people, right? So let's see if we can find. Let's dig. I want us to dig a little with this and see where it gets. Right. Let's dig, because somebody could argue that there's equal opportunities, just like Emmanuel was saying earlier, that there are so many scholarships and programs and youth trainings and youth development programs and leadership programs currently available. Right. One would argue that, oh, there's already access to equal opportunity, right? Because anybody can apply that, even if you're a man, you're a woman, or a boy, a girl, whatever disability you have, whatever mental health issues you have, whatever it is, they could argue that, oh, the opportunities that it's open, find it and apply. Right. Okay. Good. So you said equal opportunity means giving every young person a fair chance to succeed, regardless of where they come from, their family background, gender, religion, ethnicity, financial. Wonderful. Okay. Cool. 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 I think now I like the context you provided to it. So that means the system that is built or building the system of equal opportunity means intentionally designing all of these components or designing for all of these components. So say you build a school, everybody should be able to attend, even people with disability should be able to attend. Boys and girls in the classroom should be given exactly what they need. And I think that's where we use the word equity instead of equality, right? Because equity speaks to giving people what they need to succeed, or okay, say for instance, now we want to say we are trying to empower young people, in quotes, and then we distribute 1 million naira to every young person in Nigeria, regardless of who they are. Do we think that 1 million naira is that? Do we think that 1 million naira will have the same impact to everybody? Say we want to do a program now, we distribute 1 million to everybody. Would it have the same impact to everybody? Or do you think most people will use it for the same things? No, right? Because some people might get it and they're using it to eat, to feed themselves, to feed their family, to maybe pay for medical bills, to to do a couple of things. And for some people, all of these things are not issues, right? Like feeding and healthcare, all of that, they're things they've already figured out for themselves, right? So you're seeing that some people they might need more money to get to the same place, right? Because they still need to solve all of the foundational things that we have talked about. So I think that's the one very big difference between like equity and inclusion, right? So equity leads us to design that system with the context of the people in it in mind and everybody in it really. So Emmanuel says every Nigerian youth to be involved in the process of the country and the programs. This I also agree with. I think we need more youth involvement. We need more youth engagement, and that's why we're doing a program like this, right? So that we can get more young people into the rooms, more young people part of the conversation, be part of making this decision that ultimately affect us. And the what's it called the I wouldn't say sad part is I would say the what makes it more important even is that we are the people that will be left on the earth at the end of the day, right? Like just by basic biology, generations, all the older generations would will should die off before the younger generations, right? So ultimately, the future that we're trying to build, or all of these things, all of the decisions that are being made today, are being made about our future and about how we spend the rest of our days on this earth, right? So it's important that we're part of those conversations. And Prince says awareness and education. We do have a voice if we have the chance to get our points across. We have to. We are the youth. I agree, right? Like we have the voice, we should use it. And people should get more awareness and more education. And even education goes beyond the classroom. We should be educated on life. People should know how the economy. We say the economy every day. I put it to you that most people don't know how the economy works. Like even us in this conversation, we hardly have a good. I would say I don't know everybody's background, except maybe you're an economist or like you're an enthusiast. But very few people have a very good understanding of how the economy works. What does inflation mean? What does it mean? When the economy is in recession, people can feel it. They can feel the effect. But what are the things that contribute to that? Like, what are the systems that contribute to it? What does it mean when we say like civic participation? When we say even the elections, how do elections work? At the electoral process, what does that mean? Well, how does that work? How do roads get built in the country? How the hospitals get built? How the schools get built? Who decides where and when and how? Right. So there's all of these things that we need to get educated on if we really, 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 really want to go to solving the problems. And being educated in it, I mean educated like beyond what we're getting in the classroom, actively working in these things and getting the first-hand information and education in them. So this has been really wonderful. We brought out so many good ideas to the question, so many great conversations, around this. So I'm going to leave. Like, does anybody have? Also, I don't know if hands are raised. If anything, sorry, please just speak. Does anybody have anything to say before we wrap up this this session? And I think other people should also be wrapping up by now in the other breakout rooms. Okay. When is due set to release? I don't know yet, but I believe it should be in during the Gender Summit. We should be releasing the Gender Summit in September. So September 8th to 9th, that's when the Gender Summit is going to be happening. For those that don't know, and that should be where we launch the Youth Dream Charter. And hopefully the minister will be there. He sent a representative today from the Ministry of Youth, and hopefully he'll be there and will launch during the Gender Summit. All right, thank you everyone so much for engaging today. I'm going to go confirm what's happening downstairs, and we're going to join everybody else, to keep in session. So please, I'm going to leave the chat open downstairs. So, read the chat, join, and engage with whatever is going on. Thank you. It's been really wonderful speaking with you all today. God's favor. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for sticking. I think Ruth is not here anymore. I hope she rejoins, and Emmanuel. But it was really, really wonderful. Bye.
You want to see?
Okay, great. Okay, so you have the floor to you. Thank you. Where's the camera? So to just recap, you can actually come and stand by your flip chart. So I think this is the first, right? Okay, is that one? Yeah. So start from the first page, just run through. I think this is the first page. Okay. So basically, just a quick overview. Just run through what you discussed. 2 minutes, everyone. Please run through what you discussed. We asked three. Well, we went through 3 sessions actually, so let's do your best. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joshua, representing Team Gold. And we discussed a lot. It was really an enlightening conversation. And we discussed quality education. We discussed safe education. We discussed the cost of living and the lack of empathy by students. Thank you. So we discussed quality education, safe education, the cost of living and the lack of empathy by citizens, and a dream stopped the situation of the country. So we discussed how the country and systems that the country do not support the ability to realize the dream. From the people, citizens themselves, to our history, to our culture, to nepotism, to connections, to safety and security, to the gender mentality, the necessity for patriotism and nationalism in the country. To also discuss around these areas. And then moving on, we also spoke about what success looks like individually and as a country. And several people pointed out success being beyond money and beyond materialism, and also looking into economic and social impacts in terms of success. Supporting and assisting younger people to acquire skills. It's a free environment to chase the dreams for every youth. Every youth has an environment that allows them to chase their dreams. And a system that will treat the rich and the poor equally, quality access for all, irrespective of gender and situation backgrounds, basically. And this is what we talked about different success is. And then we then move into barriers limiting us from accomplishing this. And then we spoke about infrastructure, funds, knowledge, extension, lack of mentorship, poverty, aspirations, mindset, social media, rights policies addressing the wrong problem, lack of special support for people. This basically us communicating, our various pain points from our perspective. That's how we feel that the earlier successes are organized in our country. And we then move into the root causes. We spoke about the wrong indoctrination from the digital age, how we have the wrong perspectives due to how media, entertainment, and various other things communicate the wrong information to us from a young age. And then the average youth has the wrong idea about what they should do with their lives. The concept of the youth dream charter is that the youth dreams is even based off, wrong indoctrination, which needs to be corrected. And lack of preparation by leaders and citizens for what's coming. Our island doesn't prepare for our current generation, as well as one of our gold members, and then we need to also prepare for the future generation coming. And that there are powers that be that do not want Nigeria to see a better, that do not want a better Nigeria, basically. So we discussed how system structure, somehow infrastructure, and many more are actually not just a problem of the citizen or systems are working, but there are people actively trying of the systems are working, and rather the country being in that stage. And then we also spoke about solutions. Do more than you're currently doing. One of our members spoke about us doing, check out basically volume because of we're a growing community. I'm looking to add 150 million in the next couple of years. So we have to do more than what we are doing so we can reach more people eventually. We have to train people to know the system and who they are. And we have to build solutions by ourselves and actually address the market gaps in the country. So we also spoke about what government should do. The government should screen people that work in government for qualifications that they should be qualified. Qualified people should work, improve the curriculum in schools, digitalization of processes, collaboration, development opportunities, protection of rights, and helping prepare the younger generation for positions to authority. Thank you.
Wow. Wow, that's nice. Okay. So I guess you guys really, I can see why your conversation took so long. You guys really went deep into it. That was great. Okay. Let's have Teal. Team Teal. Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah.
Finally, hello. I'm ready for Teal. Please just put together two heads are better than one. So they say.
So, good day, everyone. My name is Shima. This is my colleague here, Madam Damilola, and Madam. Yes. So, we will just quickly run these. I'll hand my question to Josh. That's both. So first of all, the big question was what are Nigeria young people want to see, and it could be summed up in a better life and to further explain or give structure or flesh to what the better life is. We looked at financial inclusion and stability. So we wanted to ensure that young people are no longer just thinking about money. And Nigerians are no longer just thinking about when they went to healthcare, quality healthcare, and social protection. So ensuring that people can actually thrive and survive physically and beyond even physically on the social level. And the last one was the working system that rewards generally accepted values and punishes values that or other things that we have generally accepted that we have generally rejected. Yeah, that was what's up with the first question.
All right, and in addition to that, we moved to question 2, where we discussed about some of the things that youth need to be able to live up to their expectations and be able to pursue their dreams. I think the first thing we highlighted was talent showcase and platforms. And I think this is a very important point because we meant it with sustainable system. So talent showcase, like what we do at my organization, like I mentioned, I currently run an organization, Skillful Minds Initiative for Women and Children. So we, apart from catering for vulnerable women, we also look out for young people who are talented, who are gifted in other things like arts and literature, especially. So we create a platform for them. We do a program, an annual events, the breaking for. So these events we go to secondary schools. We invite selected schools, and then they bring their students to participate in an inter-school competition. So that's by doing that, we are creating a platform for those students because they end up, getting prizes and all of that, mentorship. So talent showcase platforms, and this also we can also highlight tech. So there are also platforms for young people in tech for them to also showcase their talent. And we went further to say that it's not just about creating this platform. How do we sustain the systems? And we mentioned quality education as well. So it's not enough that you go to school. Are you properly learning? Are you learning right? And then we mentioned access to finance. We cannot do without finance, but whatever you want to do as a young person, you need a funding, run an organization, run a business, whatever it is you want to do, you need funding. So that's what I mentioned.
So quickly, because of our time, the third thing that we should see that as most of us did was what does supportive and inclusive Nigeria look like? I'll just use these two words. Supportive in the sense that we need to move from PPP to PPP. So instead of just looking at public-private partnerships, which has won some good fruits, but we need to add another P, which is people. There is so much on community-based organization and community-based groups that we are yet to really tap into as a nation, and we have to begin to look into that and incorporate into what has worked. Then when we talk about inclusive, we should be a very important table. And thank God this is PIC, that does gender inclusion. So we should be very important question. And PIC is also for you. First of all, women and children, that's very important. There's a place for historically, there's a whole lot that women have been systematically planned out, and now it's time for us to bring them back. But while we are doing that, it seems like we have begun to punish the young men of today for the sins of their great grandfathers and their fathers. And so we are pushing so much opportunity and so much attention to the female gender, and the male gender is now neglected. And some of the things that we're trying to curb when it comes to gender inclusion, we began to see the boomerang, because the other half of there's something I always say, because I'm a gender specialist myself. The gender is not female. The gender is male and female. Very important. So we have to ensure that we balance, that we begin to balance. So then lastly, when we talk about inclusion, it's PWDs. Now, it's a big deal. People living with disabilities, they are not even represented, let alone empowered. Like, movies don't have them. We don't have anybody who has led who is in government with a PWD. You can barely, they are almost invisible. So at the end of the day, when something happens to a person and they now have a disability, you just naturally there is that systemic, and that's systemic hitting yourself in the back of that you cannot achieve anything. I will give an example of someone who had an accident. Or let me just give myself as an example. My left hand, I had an issue while I was a little baby. It was until, while I was 11 months, but it was until 2023. That was the first time I started giving PWD on forms, because Nigeria will make you look like once you say PWD, there's something that's inherently wrong with you and you should give it. You see the way some of you are looking at.
So moving forward, breakout session 2. We discussed
Okay.
the first two.
So because of time,
Okay,
you can just highlight.
okay. The question was barriers and root causes as well as the solutions. So we highlighted that the major barrier to taking Nigeria as a case study, our country, is the cultural background, because we are in Africa. All right. So there are so many cultural norms and society rules that has kept us back, especially that has affected the female gender as well. So we also mentioned lack of financial access structures. Then we mentioned older people, weaponizing respect. This is something that we really discussed in our group. So access to quality education is also a problem, like good education. And we moved to lack of financial access and structure. that's also the root cause of the problem because there's nothing you can do, like I stated earlier, without access to good funding.
So quickly, to Netflix on why do these challenges continue to occur? So just tribalism, bigotry, insecurity beyond just the kidnapping and banditry, even personal insecurity, because we don't want to hear from older generations. We don't want to do. We are scared of doing things differently. Then there's the misuse of trust by elected officials and people in authority. Just generally, someone gave a very interesting example of hitting children, where you hit an adult with this adult, or when you first born a child and slap them and do anything. Then multi-dimensional poverty. So beyond just the financial exclusion, the poverty has now spread and it's almost like a cancer.
Yeah. I think we'll just talk about question 3 together. It's very important. Like in conclusion, solutions and like summing up the entire solution. And I think everybody mentioned something that we could sum up to this statement. Like I mentioned, everyone playing their part. You as a young person, what role are you playing? Take up your responsibility, do what you're supposed to do. The government officials should also play their part. Stakeholders should play their part as well in ensuring that we have a better Nigeria. And like we did a practical, step by writing this out.
So with these few points of I hope we have been able to. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So yeah, like they said, for the last part, we just wrote it out. So you can all read it. I want Nigerians, but everyone wrote down what they need. Everybody wrote down what institutions must do. Everybody wrote down what they want to see by 2030. So can we have the last representative? Protein, yellow, in the sun yellow, right? Okay.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm from Team Yellow, and I'll take you through what we discussed. So we started with what is our dream life, what is every youth's dream life in Nigeria, and we discussed things like high status, high pedigree, free will, freedom, access to basic amenities, education, life, things like that, and then a work-life balance and safety opportunities, hope for the average Nigerian, like going from the bottom of the pyramid to the top of the pyramid or even in between the pyramid, and also inclusion and freedom from discrimination. And then went on to say what opportunities will be needed to achieve that dream life. And we looked at things like gainful employment and also conducive business environment for both people that are in the corporate sector and those that are going on entrepreneurship. And rights to implementation of policy, like rightful implementation of policies. We have policies in Nigeria, but either people aren't aware that they exist or they are not implemented properly. And then structured mentorship, especially for youth. Youth going to Nigerian market, not knowing where to go, what is a sketch map or roadmap for them to follow in their career path. So that sort of mentorship will help them be able to build that roadmap. We also looked at well-structured systems tailored to Nigerian systems, not just emulating American systems or British systems or things like that. And creation and amendment of policies, because it's twofold. Creating policies that are going to be tailored to that dream life, and also amending policies that don't completely fit into what is needed, and also an enabling environment. And then we looked at who should be included and protected. And in that aspect, we looked at the young minds, which is us in this room, the youth. And then those are protected, the little ones, because at the end of the day, while we are tomorrow, they are also going to play parts in tomorrow. And then displaced individuals, refugees, people that had one form of displacement in whatever form or the other, they also deserve to be protected and included. Rural youth, people that aren't fully, like they are not fully enlightened on education, on digital inclusion, things like that. And women have to be protected because you see a world where a woman is treated, might sometimes be treated unfairly or in one way or the other. Then older generation, they have to be included because when we are making all these new things, they still live in the tomorrow that we're trying to build. So they have to understand us so they don't fight us. And then persons with disabilities, they have to be included and protected. They shouldn't be treated less than or not equal to, and they should be accommodated for and included in every society that is being built. And those of lower standing, people that are like rural people, people that aren't fully enlightened, they should be protected and included. And then we went on to say what role should communities and institutions play in Nigerian life. And we looked at sorry, it looks at introduction of religious channels and education of rights, because most people they don't know that certain rights for them exist and they need to get aware of them so they can know what channels they use to address those issues when it happens to them. Then accountability on both sides. You should be accountable and then you should be accounted for. And implementation, that's in the form of it should be implemented properly. And people should be informed of things that are to be implemented. And then inclusion of people's interests for institutions that have to protect the interests of those that work in the organization, those that come into the organizations, and every single stakeholder that plays a part in an institution. Um, Imbibing patriotism for communities. Every youth in a community has to imbibe the spirit of patriotism for a dream life to be achieved. Because if everybody has patriotism in one form or the other, at the end of the day, we'll get to that end goal. And then mental health understand on sorry, I skipped the part. And then accommodating brilliant minds. Institutions should include young minds that are brilliant in their institutions to be able to grow and strengthen themselves. And then what makes it difficult to build a life? What are the challenges? And we looked at things like undermining of mental health. Because the older generation, they look down on things like anxiety, depression, things that play a real factor in youth life and how they interact with social environment. Then social approval. A lot of youth struggle with wanting to be approved by their society, by their community, by their parents. Those are challenges that play a part. And then lack of access and absence of opportunity. So in our discussion, we discovered that Nigeria both has lack of access and absence, depending on where you're looking at it from. Lack of access in the sense that Nigerian youths and Nigerians generally have been cut off from a lot of global opportunities. And absence in the sense that Nigerians don't have a lot of opportunities that are available globally within Nigeria. Then access to good education and employment. Those are things that are making it difficult for youth to build that great and good life. Bad leadership, as we all know, leadership challenges and leadership rules mismatch. People in leadership, some of them aren't fully suited for that roles, which causes that role to not fully be effective or work. And then we looked at why do these problems exist in the first place, or why do they continue to exist and grow in our communities? And we saw that there are things like specific benefits to problems. So the things like corruption, political mismatch, they exist and there are people benefiting from them. So they know which to correct or remove it. And then absence of follow-ups. When things happen, people hardly follow up on them or continue to build on it. And then continuous operation independence constitution. We discovered that there are constitutions that were built before even Nigeria's independence. And though it was said that they would be removed or whatever, we still see that unconsciously Nigeria still follows them. And as a result, we have some of the problems that continue to exist. And then a major one in Nigeria is tribalism. Yes. And then we moved on to solutions. How can those problems be solved? And then we have things like be the change. You have to be the change you're trying to imbibe, and then there should be accountability, strong systems should be built, implementation. And somebody even said aristocratism should be implemented. Then we went to our option that institutions must create enabling environments, have qualified people in power, be disciplined, accountable, put people first. Then by 2030, Nigeria should be worth living in. One of the foremost innovation countries, have a female president, have security, have progressed, be inclusive for all, have a great stamp on global and have a young person with disabilities in the government. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Pelumi, for that presentation. So I think, based on these responses, I think we all had very, very engaging and um, informative conversations. And I think, in just a few minutes, we just want to highlight things that cut across. So, what did we hear mentioned across all the three breakout sessions? Anyone? The mic is going to go around. So, I'm just recapping everything. So, what is the thing that you heard across, okay, sorry, across the three different sessions? Yes.
I think everybody mentioned how at the end of the day, everyone has a part what he wants to play, right? So all the groups figured out that it begins with all of us, because as much as institutions or governments or everything counts, I think Nigerians have to realize the fact that the government is made up of Nigerian people like indigenous. So it is you and I, quote unquote, and everybody still the street that will need to see at the end of the day. So if we, or the average Nigerian, is not a good person, we cannot expect institutions or governance or anything else good, because it's a reflection of who we are, right?
Wow, thank you. Before we go further, I just remembered that we have people joining us online. So I apologize for forgetting about you guys. Sorry, I'm hungry. So please, can an online rep just tell us what you guys discussed in your session? I'm sure it was as powerful as the one we had in the room. So online, over to you.
Okay.
Hello? Hello? I don't think I'm able to speak. It's Jackson.
Dear Prince, we can't hear you. Maybe it's on our part, but we can't hear you.
Hello? Can you can you tell Jackson to give me access to
Just
speak?
letting you know we can't hear you. Maybe speaking, but we can't hear you. We are working on it. Okay. Uh,
Hello? Can you hear me?
Need access to speak. Someone online said that access should be given to speak.
Yeah, I don't have yeah.
Okay, I think we can read. So in the chat, we can also explain the chat while we're trying to get the audio. God's favor says, if we can give God's favor permission to speak, I think they're asking for permission to speak.
Hello?
Well, in the meantime, if you can also display the chat,
Hello, can you hear
we
me?
have the chat.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Sure
God's
why
favor also is asking if they can
I'm
speak
not sure
as
why they
well.
can't hear me at all, but I
This is
can
what
hear
they
you.
discussed.
Oh, you can hear me, but they can't hear. So they can't hear
Yeah,
me
they
though.
can't hear you. Yes, they can. I think the mic,
Yes, so please, God's favor, if she can be given access, I think she'll be able, she all can speak. But we're not hearing them. Yeah, the issue is that there's no output, there's no output in the call.
Okay.
So if it's not possible for us to hear them all, we can just go ahead. Okay, please can you scroll? Let me just read from the chat. I think it should be difficult to get them to cross hear what they are saying. If you can scroll up a bit to where the notes are.
Coordinated. If you were doing this kind of thing, you should
Okay, so they discuss the kind of future that young Nigerians wants to build, the challenges preventing them from achieving their dreams, and the opportunity that they need to succeed. They also talked about what
Finally.
supportive and inclusive Nigeria should look like, and the importance of equal access to education, jobs, skills training, mentorship, funding, and youth participation in decision making. Finally, let's show that a bit closer. Finally, they discussed the Youth Dream Charter as a document that reflects the priorities and aspirations of young people. So I guess that's just a summary of what they said. Okay, thank you very much, those online. I'm sure. So then, yeah, I'm sure that you guys said a lot, and okay, participants identified limited access to opportunities as a major challenge. While scholarships, internships, and skills training exist, many young people are either unaware of them or unable to access them. There was also concern about the concentration of opportunities. So we talk about this one. In major cities such as Lagos and Abuja, reinforcing migration rather than creating pathways for young people to thrive across the country. I think that's a very important part. Many of you in this room are guilty of this. Many of us in this room. Participants emphasized the need for nationwide exposure, better information dissemination, and support for basic needs to improve employability and quality of life. Wow. It's like the online room was where to be. It's like the online room was where to be. Okay, so as we were doing, we're just going around. So I think just like two or three more persons, something that stood out to you across the different recaps from okay, they're not even done. When discussing what makes it difficult for young Nigerians to build the life they want, participants highlighted financial constraints, limited employment opportunities, inadequate support systems, and weak infrastructure. Infrastructure was described as a fundamental barrier that affects job creation, mobility, and economic growth. One participant noted that this AI. One participant noted that improvements in public transportation alone could generate significant employment. It's probably I mean, but it's what they said. It's what they said. Wow. One participant noted that improvements in public transportation alone could generate significant employment. I appreciate the big Bye. Okay, so thank you online guys. Thank you, Jonathan, for moderating a great session. So as we were saying, anybody things that cut across in all the discussions, based on what we've heard, you mentioned everybody has a role to play. That's something that stood out to her. Anybody else wants to share something? Okay.
So once that was across everyone's observation as a few groups, this history, our history, background, our identity and definition, patriotism, nationalism, this is for the possible conversation. So
Great. Our history and our background. That is very true. Because your culture influences you, influences your actions. And we have to break free from harmful cultural norms and traditions. It's not all culture that is bad. A lot of them are actually really good. But however, the harmful ones influence gender-based violence. There's something that we talked about in our session, which was I'm trying to remember how Shima phrased it. Something like something respect systems. I don't know. It was very funny. But yeah, like the respect culture in Africa, Nigeria, it's almost like you know bullying. Yeah, it's no more respect. It's actually bullying sometimes, and it causes insecurity both from young people and older people. Older guys are scared that the young guys, are going to erase them from the face of history. And then the younger guys are scared that the old guys won't let them live. So, how can somebody live in that kind of life? Okay, Mercy wants to say something.
Okay, one more thing was the need for and awareness. So for people living with disabilities, gender inclusion and equity, that's something that cuts across all sectors because at the end of the day, older guidelines are excluding the youths from certain positions. Then imagine you're a youth, you're now in a group that is being excluded. So your exclusion is like
So much.
yeah, multiple layers. So that's one thing that we should really look at.
So I think also, from something that someone said by 2030, we want a female president. Like that speaks to inclusion. So I think also one of the commitments that we should also push forward is that, PWDs and even youth by 2030 should be in way higher decision making positions. That's something that we should push because if we're not there, how can they care about us? Yes, thank you.
Okay, one other thing that echoes across the three section is that we try to actually look at our problem not just on the surface, especially from my end. We actually dissected how we became Nigeria. Some of the things we are agreed upon, even in our absence and stuff back as 1914, the ones that were done in 1963, and the name for some of these things, which was sincerely faced there. Some people have to go, either by being unalive, by any ways, and also because we talked about protection of some people and including some people. Somebody who is not for you is against you. So everything we are concluding on here, anybody that will be against this, we should do away with them. Either through God or by God or by God. Thank you.
Disclaimer. PIC, NY, NY, NYSC, Federal Ministry of Youth and Development. We do not patronize any form of violence with which. Wow, great. Please, can I speak? Because people, we want to hear you speak. It's just that, I don't know. You can speak. If you can be heard, you can speak. Try speaking. Let's see if you can hear you.
Hi, hi everyone. Can you all hear me?
Because can you type, please? We'll wait for you. We'll see if we'll read it. Because we're not being able to hear what you're saying. So please, can you just type it? Thank you. Great. What stood out for me was the hope that positive change is possible when young people are given the right opportunities and platforms to contribute. So she's like, I can clearly see from this discussion that there is actually a possibility of change as long as, so there's a caveat, as long as young people are given the platform, given the opportunities, and actually supported and included. So things like this, and this dream charter is, I believe, one of the platforms and opportunities for young people to actually, create change. So I think everyone that's here today, I think you should give one of applause for yourself as well. Because this is something bigger than yourself. Great. Okay. So okay, God's favor, can you try speaking now? We have hope. God's favor, please try speaking.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? I'm speaking. I'm Can you hear
Just to
me?
use chicken, but we can't hear.
Oh my
You hear from
Hi. Hi everyone. Can you all hear me? I'm literally screaming. Hi.
Yes, I can hear you, God's favor. Don't I think the hall, this thing is not connected to the hall, the speaker.
Okay, so I'm so happy that you finally hear me. Okay, so I don't know how anyone can hear me, but if you can help, please do. So yeah, another thing that stood out for me, right, is I'm so happy that I'm on this call and on the meeting because I spent a good straight 6 hours on a meeting that is not even tiring, a meeting that is so, impactful, a meeting that is so that is worth, that worth listening to and contributing to. I'm so happy to be here and to the pioneers and the teens. I'm so happy that um oh, and she round up.
No,
Okay.
no, me, I can hear you. Don't worry, God's favor. I'm listening to you.
Okay, so I'm so happy that I wasn't live. I wasn't just on my TikTok that is watching things that are not meaningful. But here I am listening to some impactful and some some things that I wasn't really doing right. I was being corrected in my career joining. So this is a great time. But I'm not happy that I'm not there live. The auntie that sent this to me sent that yesterday, and I didn't know that there's a physical meeting. So please, you guys should always make sure you reached out. I've been there before. Should always make sure to reach out to accessibility where we can always access things like this, because yeah, there are youths that are really, 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 really interested to be part of this kind of mind-blowing and impactful meeting. Thank you, PIC. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Love you.
And then we go and eat. So once again, I want to first of all apologize. We have gone over the time we expected to be here. So I need to apologize for that. Also to thank everyone for not complaining but engaging, participating. I believe that it has been a very engaging time and conversation. And some of you, we might have to force you to stop talking because you were like, "Igbo," and like, Omo, I'll speak, let's talk. So thank you guys for living up to the hype, right? And the last section for today, before the closing remarks, right, the group of things, would be what we call the youth commitment circle. Now, basically, I'm going to pass the mic to everyone, and everyone is going to send a message. Everyone is going to send a message to policymakers, decision makers. What is a message or like something that's on your heart? If we put you in front of anyone that can make anything happen, like let's say the most powerful man in Nigeria, right? Who is the president to some people? Some people they have presidents for actually races. Actually, no. So whoever you think the most powerful man in Nigeria is, and he says, yes, so like I said, if you could talk to It was part of my Nigerian. See, this is my burning vision and message and desire for Nigerian youth. What would that message be? So I want everyone to like just capture everything I've said today in a few words. You know, I'm trying to make everyone speak because I know some black was spoken since they came here today. Okay. So that was end now. So I'm going around the let's just all right. So one message, yeah. Okay. So what's one burning vision you have for Nigeria, or one message that you cast across policymakers? You know, concerning everything we've talked about today, as a Nigerian youth, what is the vision you have for Nigeria, or what's the request that you have? What's the message that
My message as a Nigerian youth with a disability is that inclusion is more than provision of grants. And so persons with disability, young persons with disabilities should be included in all facets of life, employment, jobs. When persons with disabilities are into business, it should be the general public should also be free from discrimination because persons with disabilities are always discriminated against. So provide conducive environment for persons with disabilities to thrive, be it in business, in employment. Also access. Let's make access available to all persons with disabilities, both those in rural communities. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. My message is that it's late, but it's not too late. For a moment, the people in power and have capacity to change lives. To be sincere about Nigeria for once. If it cannot work in our time, at least our kids should not suffer and see them suffer right now. There are so many people that are benefiting from our pain and our sin every day. None of this what to say now should that out transport of people lives. But I'm very emotional right now. The less than 2% of us are probably benefiting from our sin every day. It's very true and simple don't put here. I said all the time some people have to go because they want to see benefiting. Everything we conclude here today, it should still be like a normal average or hangout if nothing is done. So I will let you to happen to this.
My message is simple. Invest in people, especially young ones. Also invest in the country, create opportunities.
Okay, so I'm gonna come from where I work, which is an education consultancy firm. If we go back to first world country, there's one thing that is very significant among them in terms of how they know they are. It is the quality of education. So education is not limited to just the classroom. I'm talking about the programs that come alongside with it. So what's my own advice is the government should invest in the quality of education, in terms of curriculum. So that is when I go to school, it should put my mind to think in a different level. And that will also naturally translate to decision in the entrepreneur world. Thank you.
Okay, if I was talk to someone who has like the ability to do something meaningful for the youth of today in Nigeria, I'd say that they should try to create a working system for the young people. We have seen the jumper syndrome linger for far too long, and many people will continue to jumper if something is not done urgently.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think I would say that we need to build very strong systems that can be held accountable, such that young people can thrive in the healthy system.
Okay. My contribution is I think the government should focus on
building a digital economy. Focus on digital economy because tech is the way forward. And to start with that, I think we should start from the cost of data. As data to have data now is almost a luxury. A lot of people use it for research and all. So the government can come in and regulate this because it's getting out of hand. The government can start from here at least. I think we should be going forward from here. Thank you.
Okay, I'll say that we're tired of promises and we want more actions than promises. You can just do what you're saying, and we need structure put in place.
Okay, I would say my message to the younger Nigerians out there is that we should rise above tribes, blame, and excuses, and help ourselves by involving in educational things, let people can help for a better system.
Okay, so my message to policymakers and influential we're out there. We're tired of handouts as we don't want bag of rice again. Our parents don't need those wrappers again. Invest in us, invest in our education, create a system where our hard work pays off, create a system where we're allowed to dream. And in that dream, we know that this dream is going to become a reality. That's the kind of system we want to invest in our education, invest in our lives, and just create a structure where our hard work actually pays off. That's my message.
My message will be to young Nigerians to create solutions that address the market gaps, the problems that we actually have in the country. That's beyond just going into, like, we should see beyond ourselves as individuals already. So we think of the collective of the country, the whole, that's beyond just seeking my personal profit or personal prosperity, that actually also play a role in ensuring contributing my part that we as a country are better. So there are no solutions in the agricultural sector, manufacturing sector, industrialization sector, e-commerce sector, business sector, so many sectors that we have that require solutions. We will now see them through to realization and actually contributing value to the country at large.
Okay, so I think my final thoughts will come from something I heard somebody getting bold say. He was talking about the not too young to learn policy, right? So I think a lot of young Nigerians have been excluded from the rules that matter. And somebody talked about how Nigerian youths are the majority of Nigerians. So if youths are not in the rules that matter, how do we plan to move Nigeria forward, right? So as much as they enacted a law that was meant to involve them, how many Nigerian youths have access to political parties? How many Nigerian youths can afford an election form for even the smallest of offices, right? How many Nigerian youths have access to a place where their voices will be heard and where the people will actually take their voices seriously, right? So it's very sad that at the end of the day, those who matter the most, those who are meant to push the country forward are being sidelined, and the majority are not where their voice can be heard. How do we push the country forward?
My contribution would be national orientation against many points as well as optimism. Focus on programs that will inculcate national pride in Nigeria. Because the truth is, when you have youths that are proud of their country, the work of the government will be easier. And it's like the two groups are all working towards the same goal, which is a better Nigeria. So instead of trying to develop ourselves for ourselves, we need to think beyond ourselves to our country. So both ways are leading towards the same path. So focus on programs, focus on history that ensures that Nigerians love Nigeria and value Nigeria.
Okay, I think I'll say for every problem to be highlighted, when we are providing solution for it,
the government should see to it and policy makers should see to it that those policies are being implemented. And to the T, that the people that are given the role to implement the policy and do the right thing, everybody should be hold accountable. We should not just sit, make policy and then leave it there. We should make sure it works. Okay.
Okay, round of applause for everyone, please. Okay, sorry. Yeah, let's do that.
So yeah. Yeah. Ayo.
What I have seen and policy makers, let's improve the quality of education. First of all, by improving the curriculum because it's very backward, it's very outdated. We need to be able to stand with our counterparts in other countries and do what they do without feeling behind. Thank you. Okay, so from everything I've done in this first meeting, my message to those in power, those who can do something about all of this, is that they strive for even development all through Nigeria, also those rural areas. Like someone said on your line, people try to get more opportunity from big cities like Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, or those places in the north that are plenty insecurity, and even those places in the south that have so much opportunity because they have access to the seaports and all that, but not much being done there. So even development around all the states of Nigeria, that's what I would like to see. And I just charge every youth and every person in policy, making policy, to just care enough to do something about the people that are affected. And when somebody said something that when resources are given to those in power, they use it for their family, for themselves, instead of them to direct it to people that actually need it to help with schools, because I honestly believe government should be free to all of those things, fund and medical clinic and all of that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So if I was to say something to the policy, I'll say Nigeria doesn't have a lack of talent for people that are pretty. It has an environmental issue. The environment is not conducive enough. But before youth can think of building, first they have to think of survival, which is not right. You can't wake up every day and always think that will I see tomorrow, will I see tomorrow. They have to make the environment conducive that they can. Instead of thinking of how to see tomorrow, you're thinking of how can I make this things look better? What is missing that can make it even much more conducive than it currently is? So Nigeria should be more accommodating, especially from young age. We are allowed to innovate. Our thought process shouldn't be how far what I'm waiting there for the boys. There's always that this national cake. I don't know who make the cake, but every day we should not wake up thinking of getting something for free or working less for done. Everyone is thinking of one way or one to amass sweat immediately. Their policy, their processes, yes, everything starts to even a seed germinates on the ground. For Nigerians now, we call politics, we think that just wait for you to be old enough to enter a particular move and take it at once. And yes, my child is they should open more rooms for this. We should be allowed to wait.
So my education is first be access to information, being by creating resources and things like that. This family is because many of us like don't have information on stuff and want to bring to information that then mentorship. There's something like a national mentorship whereby people who are already in the path and show the ones who are coming how it's done, what the mistakes were, what you avoid, and what you do. Another thing is linking government skill programs to like maybe a small capital or grants whereby don't just talk access to kids, they like work on it, work outside the training and do something more in the training.
Okay. Thank you. There's other youth in another side here, but because of time, we need to go and lunch is ready and everything. So I want to invite the representative from the gender team to give anyone. Let's welcome Peggy from the gender team. Peggy, naturally, right.
Hello, everyone. That's my has been so serious that we're frowning. I want to see this. Hello, everyone. Thank you. How have we been? How's the session been so far? It's been amazing, right? Good. Thank you so much for coming. Everyone online, I want to sincerely say thank you. And so a backstory, this was the conversation we had as how many of us were in GS25? Okay. Oh, of course, you're there. So this was a conversation that we started from GS25. So this is like a follow-up, and hopefully we'll take it to the summit GS26, where we'll be launching the Boost Charter by conference. And so a quick one, the summit. So our summit is September 8 and 9. And if you've not registered, please kindly register. But we're also having a session for youth, a 2-hour session on Tuesday, that is 8 September, I don't know, right? September 8th. So that's the free part. So you could also come and also be present at the launch. But I want to say appreciate you for your time, your patience, and this conversation has been so insightful. I've been joining online, and I must say that you guys did absolutely well. Please a round of applause for yourself. I look forward to seeing you at the summit. And of course, if you want to be at the summit, you need to register. I'm sure the team will put on the link where you can as well register as well. So please do have a lovely trip back home. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kenny. And on this, I really want to encourage all of us to also be at the summit. Not even the session, but the summit itself. It's going to be a room full of change makers, people who are actually interested in making it a better Nigeria. It's not just another event or summit. They're actually going to be great minds in the room. So if you're interested in networking and meeting new people, the summit is a place to be. Also, it will also be great as co-creators of this youth dream charter for all of us to be there at the launch, which will be happening at the summit. So please, I just want to encourage all of us to be there. All right, so without further ado, we just want to take a vote of thanks. I just want to confirm that the person who is going to give that vote of thanks is with us. But yeah, once again, I think that you guys have been great. So honestly, you've been great. Thank you so much. I'm not an MC or a moderator. I just told them like I know if it's young people, then just bring my house up. So thank you guys for being responsive, for making it easy for me to communicate with you. It's been a pleasure. After today now, I can go and say that I'm MC. I'm a legend, but it's still bring your feedback. Thank you for enabling me. I have a question. Okay, sure.
So, we got TIC for organizing this and all of that. One of the major challenges that young people in Nigeria also face with events and gatherings like this is at the end of it, it seems like there's a whole lot of stuff and there's hardly any follow-up channels and supporting systems and structures to ensure that learnings and evenings, even if they are working with what they call them, set down sessions and all of those things. So how do we reach out to PIC and what is PIC's commitment? What are things that look like success for PIC? What are things that look like success for PIC? Because there's just a subset of young people here. All of us are basically in Abuja, in and around Abuja, and the only networks way beyond here. If there are learnings and feedbacks that we have that we want to send across, how do we reach out? Yeah, so that's okay. Another question?
Sorry, I commented a couple of weeks right here, and also I need to actually change my profile about what I said. I'm not being overzealous or being the most patriotic here, but something happened when I say 26 first I was in Nigeria stage. Myself and of your minds, I championed the goal back then, United Nations goal 2 and 4. And from the portion of our 19 setting aside goals to our and what's happening is much. And at the point you say, okay, let's have a campaign and let the team. And at the point going around and one of the community leaders that likes me so much called and said, guy might disappear soon. Don't have to go back to your parents. And everything we are highlighted in our campaign then is sad as it's happened to do. One of the things we stated in out of the children population back then was between 10 to 12 million. And today the admin system is 80% recruiting. That's the 80% recruiting source for the insecurity in Nigeria. So when I say some people have to be sincere about Nigeria, be sure that this little boy has seen the past. If as young as 10 years ago we saw something, and just because some people want to say manipulating the larger percentage of us in the grip of power and political influence, then we are not ready to go forward from here. It's not just by government who creates this, government who create that. Let everybody have access to having their own mind. Our mind use system structure. It wants to security system. They can also always learn from the manuals, but let them have a mind about themselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So to your point, to your question, how do you follow up, right? So actually, we just found out that in the registration email that you sent earlier, email address, like it wasn't part of the fields to put in your email address. So we are actually going to go around to get everyone to write your email addresses so that we can keep you in the loop in upcoming events and conversations following this. Also, by virtue of being in the room today, you are actually a co-contributor to the Youth Dream Charter. This charter document is in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Youth and Development. And like Kemi said from Gender, this conversation started last year at the Gender Summit. And since then, we have been working up until this moment. We are co-creating the charter, which should be launched in September during this year's Gender Summit. So these steps are to show that this is not just a gather and talk conversation. No, this is actually going forward. This is actually just to help us, gain more insights and make the charter as rich as possible, so that when it goes out, you can take it to government and say, these are the demands of Nigerian youth, and these are the policies that should be implemented. So that's on PIC's part. I'm not the best person to answer, but from what I know, these are the steps that PIC is taking to take this conversation further. So please, let's all write our email addresses so that we can reach out to you. I'm sure one thing I always see that whenever PIC hosts like this, there's always follow up callbacks. We are hosting another session where I get to be a part of it. So by being here today, you are part of the process already. I know some places that I'm sure are already been here from previous events. So that's the response. That I give the response. Thank you. So we were closed. I'm about to just say thank you for coming. Let's wait for everybody to like their emails. Okay. Any other question for that clarification needed? Blah blah blah. So like I said, it would be very good if all of us here could actually be at the session at the gender summit, because that is going to be a bigger conversation with way more of this in the room. And we'd even love if we could even, who knows, we could be intelligence partners with us, knowledge partners with us, reach out, register for the summit, register for the session. So yeah, we're all co-creating the UK chapter.
Thanks for having me. I think that's the crux of it. And the way the IC is going about it is that the conversation typically never stops. However, you may decide to jump off the bandwagon. So don't do that. What we're saying is we're going to reach out to you. We'll send you an email. When we do the youth session at the Gender Summit, I'm sure you know that's like the biggest gender summit in Nigeria. When we do that, we would continue. By then, the hope and dream is that we will launch a dream chapter. If we do that, we want people that are familiar with the beginning to be able to tell people that no, here they start. Like, no, we've been doing this from a little while now. And it helps us to keep, like, when you have people that started something continuing with awesome. But thank you so much to everyone that came, that shared their thoughts and shared their voices. We appreciate you and we are grateful.